set the board, like give me some key things so that I can go, grab, look, review, give me 10 seconds to review this, walk in. How do you remember that, right? So you become, it's this team that becomes a superpower.
The servant leaders, they're behind the scenes, and they allow the space for people to grow into. And I think that's a really important comment.
You got $50 for 60 people. Like that puts you in a whole different bracket of like compensation. You have to quantify these things and bring the value to your pages like you do your team. Today's team. Look, you're on vacation. You have the ability to make a lot more than your base salary or hourly if you're an A player.
The reemployment rate is like 95 or above. That's the one thing that relates to the most healthy, productive, profitable business out there.
The DSO sits above and the profits flow up. It allows the marketplace to become the world for your practice. So your valuation can go up.
It's actually been really great.
Yeah.
It's really been great to get me past some of the plateaus and obstacles I've had in my practice growth and development.
And I've been blown away by both of them. I've been studying from afar, I've been learning from them, and they both are incredibly genuine people, it seems like, and they want to help. And so when I heard they were putting on an event at the last Voices of Dentistry, they made a mention of it. I walked up to them and said, I'm going to be there.
And a lot of people here are the same way. I think that's why this is such a cool summit. It's different than any other CE because it brings like-minded people together. And I hope they throw it again next year because I'll be here.
Can I ask something, Bruce? Because I'm sure you have data on this. So, and I tell people this, let's say the average office that isn't running very lean and mean, right? And they have a 10% profitability. If you allow someone to pay with Care Credit and the interest free that you take the 10% haircut, doesn't that effectively mean you're providing that service?
No charge.
Pro bono?
Yeah, it pretty much does. I mean, whatever that 10%, you got to remember that 10% is profit percent. So, I mean, when you take 10% off and you're running a 70% overhead, you just gave up 33% of your profit.
Exactly. That's where I'm going. It's a multiple of that 10% is what you're giving off.
Yeah, I said the same thing about PPO. You know, you give up 35%. Well, wow, you better be lean and mean. And they are. And there are some very successful PPO practices. I have no issue with what delivery, how you do it. But bottom line is, I'd rather make, what about an E patient? What about the worst of the worst? Well, the truth is we know they default at 17%. So, all right, default at 17. Well, I never want to do that. Why would I ever want to do that? I go, well, because you have 83% of the people paying you 17.9% interest and they're doing it for 30 months, 60 months. We also have people that go, well, I never want to do financing longer than 12 months. I go, no, dude, you really do.
Yeah.
60, you're killing it.
You want a 20-year plan? Okay.
If you take your money and put it in your bank account, last time I checked, my bank account pays me like 0.0001%.
But you can create wealth by helping people.
That's awesome.
And people bitch about, well, you guys are taking 7% of the note. I said, but your average collection is only 93% if you don't do squat. I mean, that was dental economics. 93.5% is the average collection percentage in the U.S. Well, now you and I, all three of us, we know that we have a higher collection percentage than that. We have, we understand how to run a business. But the bottom line is the people that are bitching, when they just do it themselves and give no payments, are only collecting 93.5%. I would rather offer payments and let people, and Compassionate does all the work. You don't make another phone call. Everything's done by the team. And there are people that if you have somebody that leaves your practice, you got to find somebody else to do it. We've got 10 people there. We lose, they shift to another person who's a specialist in collections. It's just, it's a no-brainer in my mind.
This is the future. Can I tell you why? Craig's going to kill me for a second, but this is literally the process of disintermediation. Really, like getting rid of the middleman that's only there to provide trust for both parties. Right? On either side.
No doubt.
And
we're travel agent.
Huh?
It's like it's the travel agent. Like, they're going to go online and do it anyway. They're going to book your cruise online. I should just book my own cruise.
Craig, where were we though? Was it Serona World? You and I were together and we talked to Charlie. Charlie's your good looking stud guy. Is that his name? Charlie?
He's my
Yeah.
son-in-law too. So.
Son-in-law, yeah.
Charlie
But-
Brown.
Yeah, Charlie Brown. There you go.
Charlie
But
Brown.
Is that-
we both went through the process, and I don't know if it's just we had so much shit going on, Craig. But like, why did we not pull trigger, and why are we still with the status quo?
What we were trying to, we got stuck, Bruce, just like you said, we got stuck on the, okay, so I am a big user of third-party financing, so I am getting completely hosed.
Yeah, you're
Hosed, fully
Rhymes
hosed.
with hair shredded.
Say again?
Nothing.
I don't even, that went right over my head.
I was saying I wasn't giving the name. I said it rhymes with hair shredded.
Oh yeah, but it also rhymes with pending loin too. Well, whatever it does, whatever it is. Listen, so I'm getting hosed. So I'm literally hundreds of thousands of dollars of, maybe not hundreds, but tens of thousands of dollars of fees. Potentially 100,000. I don't. Yeah, it could very well be 100.
I bet it is. Yeah.
I think it is. You have my numbers. Charlie Brown has them. So, but here's where I got stuck. I'm a typical dentist. So I'm paying all these guys $100,000, but yet you're going to take from me this much, and it just blew Pete in our mind.
I know, and it's that's where by making things affordable. Now, when you're talking to a patient and you tell them you have 5 crowns, just the simple solution of instead of doing 1 crown, doing 5.
Yeah.
Doing now you're doing $5,000 worth of dentistry, and $1,500 is coming from the insurance company.
It's an arbitrage of your time.
I know, and that's exactly what it is. And I tell the patient, I said, we'll just use your insurance as a down payment. Let's look at this for a second. One option is I tell the patient, you're going to have to come out. I'm only going to do 1 crown because I can't afford it. So now my solution for you is you're going to have to come out of pocket $500, and the insurance companies are going to pay $500. The insurance companies laughing their ass off because they need $5,000 worth of work, but we just told the patient that their portion was going to be $3,500. So now the patient says, well, I can only do 1. So now the patient has to come out of pocket with $500. Instead, I say, well, why would you do that? Why would we just do 1? Why don't we just give you a pill? You can be snoozing. We'll do all 5 of them at one time. We'll use your insurance as a down payment. You don't even have to come out of pocket with anything right now.
Oh, wow.
And you can make monthly payments of $80 a month
This
for
verbiage
6
is
months.
gold.
Well, there's another thing too. Pete and I practice. The majority of the work, because we've got so many doctors, is not being done by us. So we have to front those doctors the money.
There are ways to do that. There are really good strategies that literally, if I'm an associate, I'm just going to use one because there's guys all around the country that are doing different things. But me, looking at it from this perspective, saying, right now you're taking a 10% haircut on care credit. Okay. When we have A patients or B patients that we're doing, you'll still take a 10%. We're going to take 10% off the price. So your percentage of what we're paying you is 25% of 90% or 25% of 85. Now you just want to do everybody. You want to do D's, you want to do C's, D's, and E's. Great. I'm going to pay you 35% or 25, whatever your monthly payment is, whatever your percentage is, but I'm going to do that off of $700 out of 1,000. So why wouldn't I do that? I'm an associate. I'm sitting there. I want to work all day long. I want to be prepping teeth all day long. And most associates are sitting on their thumbs. I mean, not in your practice, but they're not doing the amount of dentistry they could be doing if they just offered payment options. So now, yes, you're having to front that, but you can also get them involved, which is what I've done, get them involved in the interest. Just say, I'm going to pay you this on a monthly basis. It ties them to the practice. You get 25% or 35% of the interest. Let me explain to you why this is a good deal for you. You get to do all the dentistry you want to do. You're going to have
with the default rate being low enough, it would probably make more sense to just take the initial haircut that Care Credit gives them and front them the money.
Well, as a businessman, that is ideal. I mean, because what do you want? If you took, and there's a lot of formulas, there's a lot of things that we could talk about. We could probably do an entire program just on how you do that with associates. Because if I had an associate that was creating paper all day, every day, and instead of doing 500,000 in production this year, did $1 million, I just got 13.9% short duration high yield paper paying me every month for the next.
You're the mini bank, Bruce.
And I'm not a bank. It's only costing me this much.
That's
to
what I'm saying. I'm making a joke, but like, it's good to be the bank, right? That's always the joke.
And especially it's great to be the bank when you don't have to come up with the cash. I mean, the big funds. So you're getting huge interest on there. And
I remember talking.
That changes the whole formula as far as being productive, in my opinion. Make it affordable.
Wow.
I remember talking, Pete and I were talking to Charlie too, saying like, is there price break points? And I remember Charlie saying they were at that point, there was not. Like, so when you get to $500,000 versus $1 million versus $2 million of paper, is there different fees that are involved? Have you guys pioneered that yet or not so much?
We haven't. It's still running about 0.5%. What I think you're going to find that the company's going to do at some point is charge 0% on the A's and the B's, or very, very low percent, and the E's, if you're doing all E's, at maybe a higher percent, so that we can shift more of the responsibility where it should be, in my opinion. The software that we have today that we've developed can do that. Now, when we'll do it, that'll be a whole nother question. It probably will be in the next, because we have very few A's and B's going through compassionate finance. Mostly it's guys are using it for CDs and E's, but the truth is, why not make
everybody?
Yeah. And what else happens? We had which I thought was crazy. We have some guys that just said, we don't offer anything except cash, and we offer financing. Those are the two options. We offer cash and financing. Cash, they quit giving the discount. They quit giving a 3.5%, 4%, 5%. They quit doing it. And I'm like, really? And that was a paradigm shift for me. I'm going like, no, we either do financing or we pay cash. And so their cash payers went way up because people say, well, I don't want to pay interest. I'm going to just pay you cash. I mean, I can't remember the percentage. It was like in the mid-20s. That's what cash payers went up just by having no other options.
So Bruce, you have data, again, I'm going back to data for a second, of people who have because this is removing a friction point, right? You said time or money. And so if you remove this friction point of making it a monthly, easy plug and play thing, do you have data on production of someone who has implemented this versus 6 months later, or I'm sorry, you know what I'm trying to say, like after 6 months after they've implemented this program, the data on the amount of dentistry?
You know, I know Charlie does.
Okay. More
than likely.
Okay.
But what I know pretty much across the board, because a lot of the PDA docs use it on an ongoing basis, and their production has gone up 50%, 70% just by using it. And it's not even using it on every patient. We're talking about using it 3 or 4 times a month, 5 times a month when you need it. Because patients are going to pay cash if they don't want to. If they have cash, they'll do it. If not, they'll take monthly payments, and the interest rates are very reasonable. And so there's no reason why you shouldn't get to play in that game.
But the we'll take your insurance as a down payment is like, that is gold to me. If you could say, oh really? Okay, big time. I'll just. And
we're going to do $7,500. I always look at 5 times their insurance. So I say, if you don't have a pot to pee in, more than likely, I'm going to finance up to $7,500 worth of dentistry for you. I'm going to take your $1,500. I can do 5 or 6 crowns. I can do it in 1 visit. I can do that in an hour. We do CERAC, so you may sit in the office for 2 hours or 2.5. I don't care. I got extra rooms, and but I'm producing all day long and doing. I work 2 days a week, and I'm doing between 80 and 100 units a month of inlays, onlays, crowns, and then I'm also doing implants and LANAP and whatever.
Who designed your CERAC? Just out of curiosity.
I have a team member who was really good. I used to have Eddie Corrales come in. Eddie is a guy down in San Diego, phenomenal guy. And he does a lot. Still goes into guys' offices and he does the CERAC for you and designs them. Well, he was coming in and Tamara said I could do this. So I sent her out to see the guys out at not Sarah World, but CERAC Docs, out to see Samir and those guys. Sent her to Eddie's course that he does for lab technicians. Brought her back. She didn't know anatomy when we first started, the way that we know anatomy. So it might take me, she would do a proposal, and it might take me 20 minutes to go through and show her, and I would make the changes. Today, I spend 1 minute. I go, you know, she knows now that there's a short arm and a long arm on a cuspid. She knows that how the anatomy should look. And now the software's even gotten more intuitive. So
yep. The margin detection on the new one is incredible. It proposes your margin.
I walk out, I prep, walk out. I come back, we see, and that's it. And so my prep time with finance stuff, and it's costing me $30 a block or $25 a block, and I'm charging $1,400 with a buildup, and I'm going to let people leave because they can't afford it. You got to be freaking kidding me. I mean, I'm going to sit there and do those preps all day long. What about defaults, Bruce? What happens if people don't pay me? I don't care. I know there's going to be a few that don't, but the interest of the ones who do, every case that we look at, we go through and look at the dashboards of all of our docs, but every single doc has made more money in interest than they've lost in defaults.
Oh yeah.
So
and that's including after your fees, correct?
After the fees. I mean, they've made more money with interest than they did with the default. So it's just,
this might be a question for Charlie, but do you know the average rate of return after defaults and fees on the portfolio? The average 2-3%, would you say?
I'm guessing Charlie probably would know 2% probably instead of a 10% discount. So
no, I hear you. The delta is 12%. I know.
Yeah. Would the cash flow suffer from month one of implementation though?
Well, no, you don't implement them all at the same time, Pete. You slowly build the portfolio. You don't all of a sudden.
And here's the thing too, just think about this. If you were doing 500 and 500, you know, 500 down plus $500 from the insurance company, and now you're getting 1,500 in cash, all of a sudden you actually have a lot of cash coming in that you didn't have coming in. We recommend 20% down at least as a minimum, or cover your hard costs. And if you cover your hard costs, you're in great shape. I mean, it comes down to just my time value. If I covered my hard costs, it comes down to time value. But one thing that most people don't realize, they'll say, I have a 70% overhead. I mean, I've got to have the money. What is your overhead when you reach what we call profitability incentive point? What's your overhead when you actually have enough money to pay everybody in the office? Well, your overhead, and that's why you really make the best money you make is at the end of the month when all your overhead's been covered, because now you basically have supply costs and lab costs.
Yeah, those are all variable costs. Once your fixed costs are covered,
now you're like at 10%. If you're doing CERAC, I mean, what's the deal? I mean, you're down at 3% or 4% of overhead. And you look at them, they said, well, I got to pay my team. I got to pay my electric bill. I said, dude, you're going to pay that anyway. You're going to pay your electric bill and your team. They're either going to be sitting there doing nothing, or you're going to be doing 5 crowns at a time. And I also ask a question when I'm lecturing. I say, how many of you, if you had 5 crowns, would want to do that in 10 visits? Nobody raises their hand. How many would want to do it in 5 visits? Nobody. They all want to do it in 1 or 2 visits, period. So what we're doing is we're telling patients, oh, well, let's do this crown this year and we'll use your insurance next year and do that crown next year. And then the other crown we'll do in 3 years. You're not doing any favors for anybody by doing that, because by the time you get out 5 years on those 5 crowns, now you've got endo on 2 of them. You've got an extraction and a root canal. You're not doing any favors for that patient. You just need to learn the communication skills and have the business sense to be able to absolutely knock it out of the ballpark. We have one of our docs that's one of our top guys with Compassion. With his money that he makes off Compassion, he has paid off his house and bought an airplane. He's now flying all over the place in an airplane. I'm like, you're gonna be kidding me.
I was just kind of thinking about that. Like, if you had something at scale, like that's a nice, let's say you had a massive practice, right? Like Craig.
Yeah.
Or a massive organization.
Or like Pete.
Like, let's say it was a $10 million organization.
Yep.
And you had this in place, like that becomes almost like and you're done and you get hurt, or you're not in clinical anymore, or you burn out or whatever. That's almost an annuity you could set up for yourself.
An annuity, absolutely. I had one of my buddies. He had over $1 million. He retired. He was in Florida, retired, went down to West Palm, moved down there, hung out for 4 years, and now he's back working. You know, he just said,
He got bored.
He got bored. He said, I'm gonna go back to work. So
how old is he, Bruce?
64. So
got it, yeah. My dad, knock on wood, 77, still coming in the office 3 days a week. Retirement. Wow. I know we can go tangential on this, but the retirement's a really bad idea. It's a broken concept.
I agree. It is a broken concept. I will have to say that I am putting the handpiece down here in about 10 weeks. So,
Yeah, but you're not retiring from
No,
what you were talking about before we hit record. You're going to be busier than you've ever been.
I know, but so I've got a lot of stuff I'm doing. I'm just going to, take a break from doing dentistry for a while. And lost a few close buds. So I decided I'm going to do a little traveling, and my wife and I have been going everywhere for the last 6 months.
Good for you, man.
We're doing it and having fun. And I got to tell you about one other product. I don't know if we have another 5 minutes. But
Sure.
Another product that Compassionate or Comprehensive Finance, which is, we have two products now. One's Compassionate Finance, one's called Abella, and it's an account receivable software. So it actually goes into your software, pulls out all the people that owe you money, and sends them a text message or an email. People that get statements, they pitch them. That's just the way it is. I mean, you get stuff from a hospital doc, you don't even, you might open and look at it and go, well, they'll call me and let me know. But if you owe a dental practice, first of all, the gal or guy who's doing your accounts receivable is spending 90% of their time verifying insurance benefits. 10% of the time actually making collection calls. We know that we did a survey, 91% of the people in the room would rather hike in the desert for 5 miles with no water or eat Brussels sprouts 7 days a week than they would do collection calls. Only 9% said they'd rather do collection calls. And so nobody likes to do them.
And we wonder why that position has high attrition, right?
Right.
Yeah, admin in general.
You pick up the phone and you call them, and they look at their caller ID and they go, "That's the office. I know. I'm not even answering."
Or you get a statement in the mail, like you said, and it goes in file number. What do you call it? The round file.
13.
File 13.
So it
down.
just sends a text. So again, the thesis of a lot of your products has been reducing friction. So you're reducing friction by sending them a text, which then they can click a button and pay it real quick and be done.
They can click it. They can actually make an interest-free payment. We actually had a $3,500 account make $150 a month payments with no interest, but they hadn't paid us for 3.5 years, and now we gave them an option.
Wait, because you linked it with Compassionate?
It's not it is Compassionate software that's helping do that. But yes, we go through a payment portal and we make payment options available for them. And what's interesting is very few are actually taking it. But I would say 31% out of the 100 people that call, 31 actually went through the portal and either paid in full on the portal or made a monthly payment. Now, if they owe $100, they don't have a payment option available. If they owed 1,000, maybe they could pay $80 a month for however many months that is, 9 months. So they get to choose what they want, which is also how they do with Compassionate, how we do it with Compassionate, because I want them to choose what's great for them. Patient says I can pay 200. I said, why don't we do 150? Yes, it's going to pay me longer and I'm going to make more money, but I want it to be a no-brainer for you. And I tell the patient this. I said, yes, it's going to cost you more, but when you get your insurance, when you get your tax refund, just pay it off. There's no penalty. I mean, just pay it off, but make the payments easy.
I got two questions for you.
Yeah.
You have to be a client of Compassionate to have the Abella?
No, you do not. You do not.
So you could have either one?
You can plug and play. We have at least 3 other softwares that will be coming out in the next 12 months that are going to do other things.
Okay, so the next question is, does it have the API plug-in to like Dentrix and EagleSoft so it pulls that automatically?
Yes. Yeah, we have it where we can go into like 80 different softwares. And the other cool thing is if you go send to collections, I mean, they're going to charge you 30, 40% of whatever's collected. That's not what Abella does. What Abella, it's a monthly SaaS model that we were talking about. For an individual doc, it's like $199 a month. Well, that's like 1 day's salary for somebody. And I will give you this pretty amazing deal is when we turn it on in an office, and we just launched this January 1st. We did beta testing for 6 months prior. When we turn it on in the office, we've had offices call us and say, hey, could you turn it off for a little while? Because our phone is freaking ringing off the wall. And so when people are calling you instead of you calling them, is that worth a couple $100 a month?
Why are they calling if you're sending a text message? Tell me.
Because they never knew they owed the $81. They didn't know they owed the $32. So it might be picking up $32.81 because what does your gal that's doing AR do or guy? he starts with the biggest AR first and works his way down, or her way down. And they never get down to the bottom of the list.
Yeah,
And
the 1,000 people that owe $26, right?
all of a sudden the phone starts ringing. Our office, I think we collected like 55,000 over a period of 2 months.
Did people get pissed off? Like,
But
I've had this bill for since 2014. You're now just sending me
Said, well, we've been sending you statements, which is paper, which is cost, which is everything else. This costs you nothing.
Wait, you don't charge a fee at all though, Bruce?
It's a SaaS model.
$199. It's SaaS. I mean, it's $199 a month.
That's an effing no-brainer.
Yeah. And
So
there's
if
nothing.
you put if you plug back into the compassion, say I want to take a 5-year payment plan, then the fees would. So in order to have that,
Nope, we don't charge that. We don't charge the 0.5% for collection or anything, because if you're AR, we're going to pay you. We're doing it on a monthly basis, paying you, and it may be $4 a transaction. I don't know, but that's something that we can ask Charlie. But
Bruce, can I get in on the Series A on that, by the way?
what's that?
Can I get in on the Series A on that one?
Oh, absolutely. You got it. It's the next software is going to be something that will be able to go into your treatment pending. Now that may be tied, Craig, to compassionate, but it'll go into your treatment pending in your software and send them a note, an email or a text that says, hey, Pete, you've been pre-approved for financing. We just found out you were pre-approved. Come on in. Let's get that work done that you said you wanted to do 6 months ago or 9 months. And then most of the time they left because they couldn't afford it, and they don't go somewhere else. They still have the problem. And so now they come back in.
So that's genius for a second, because that's like harvesting stuff. So I'm thinking about all of the people let's say the past 5 years that have left, that we've curated them to a treatment plan and they just couldn't get approved. So we have a bucket of these people that you could reactivate.
Reactivate. Yeah, no doubt.
yep.
Holy cow.
It's a brain, it blow your brains out. And plus, if you have associates or you have people, just have them come in. Our new associates seeing all these patients, they're creating paper for you. Boom.
Wow.
So there you go. So that is, we wanted to make it to where it was affordable. And one of the things I told Craig, there's a lot of companies out there that do a lot of individual little things, and so you end up spending $1,500, $1,800.
Yeah, you got 6 plugins for $200.
You know what I hate about talking to Bruce? I'm just going to tell you right now. I can't unring the bell now. Like, now you've told me about all this stuff, and like it will haunt me until like I can't unring the bell of all these. Like, you brought this awareness to all this stuff for me now, and so you've just created like massive to-dos on my already busy to-do list there, Bruce. So thanks.
Well,
So Bruce,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, the one thing to do is to make sure that you make it happen. And if you're going to be working, you might as well be collecting it. You might as well be producing paper that you can actually, that paper, that high value short duration paper, you can use it to do other things. You can actually use that paper as collateral at a bank. If you had $1.5 million of short duration high yield paper that's performing at X, oh yeah,
You can collateralize it, you're saying, right?
You can collateralize it. So, when is a dentist able to do $1 million, $2 million? If you're only doing
Holy shit. That's his
Yeah.
leverage.
No, you can get out an advance on that debt.
We have guys actually now that make more in down payments than they used to produce, and they use the paper as collateral to open up additional practices. And that's what they've been doing for the last 4 years. They've gone from 1 practice, I think they have 7 now, and they've used that as collateral to continue to do that. So anyway, it's crazy. It's there, the money's available, but it has to be paid out on a monthly basis for patients, for many of them. I would say a majority of them, actually, because they're used to it. Even people with money have a monthly payment instead of taking it out of the bank right now, especially when times get bad. Back 2008, I saw people not doing the work, they could afford it, but because they were afraid. They didn't know what was going to happen. So they kept their money in the bank, and cash was king. So that's what they did. So that's the lowdown.
Craig, anything else before I have no more space on my to-do list, by the way. So we're going to have to end this interview.
Yeah, I guess my last thing is, I'm seeing such a fire in your belly about developing new things to help other dentists. And, with you kind of closing the chapter, at least temporarily, on your clinical practice, I just would love to know, like, what's driving you at this point? I mean, obviously, I can't imagine that a couple extra dollars are going to affect you in one way or another. You know, we talked last time with the podcast, unfortunately, lost some dear friends out of the clear blue. So as you take on more projects and more work, what's driving you? What's making you do it?
What's your why? What's your purpose right now?
Yeah, is it wanting more, not enough? What's going on?
Yeah, it has nothing to do with wanting more, not enough. I just enjoy business. I enjoy looking at numbers. I enjoy that stuff. I have fun doing it. I've been doing it now for probably in my practice for 20 years, but being able to develop products that help automate things to make things easier for the team, make it easier for the dentist to create wealth, those are all real positives. I mean, to me. And I get, doing podcasts is kind of fun. I started doing a productive dentist podcast. It's a 15-minute little short deal about just me. I don't have guests on. It's just me talking about stuff, kind of like what we're doing here. And so we've been doing it, but I get letters from people going, "Hey man, that was so cool," from Australia. I got a letter and it's kind of weird. I didn't even know how podcasts work. I had to get somebody to show me all this stuff.
Yeah, me neither.
He still doesn't actually. He still doesn't know.
But it's kind of cool that you get letters from people thanking you, and I don't know. That's that personal satisfaction of doing something that's going to leave a legacy and help people. I've got other projects that I'm doing, mission trips. We just got back from Dominican, and I really enjoy going and doing that stuff. And I've got a couple projects in our town that I'm working on. So I've got a fire to not just sit around and because I'm very good at being lazy, and I really could really dig out on the couch, with a cocktail and watch TV all day long. So I have to stay busy and golf.
Yep.
I can only play so much golf.
Like Craig says, you can golf yourself to death, literally.
That's right. So I like what I heard years ago when somebody said, "So you're going to retire, then what are you going to do?" So, "Well, I'm going to travel." Then what are you going to do? "Well, I'm going to walk on the beach." "Yeah, and then what are you going to do?" And finally it got down to, "Well, I guess I'm going to die." I go, "That's right. At least you know what's going to happen." So, we don't know when that's going to happen. It could happen next year. It could happen. I was at a party last night with a really close friend of mine who they thought he had pancreatic cancer, but it was a benign tumor that they had to remove. But they said, if that would have stayed in another year, you'd have had pancreatic cancer. And I was like, "Oh, dude," he goes, you dodged the bullet. So, how many lives do we have? Well, I just want to make this one, have meaning, have meaning and do things.
Geez, Bruce, you have.
Totally
There's so many people. And the beautiful thing about what you've done and what I acknowledge you for is, obviously you've touched a lot of patients personally, but when you've touched thousands upon thousands and tens of thousands of dentists, vicariously, look at how many patients you've touched. Each
at scale, right?
1,000, 2,000 communities of people. So it's ultra rewarding for me to do clinical dentistry because it's a one-on-one thing. But helping a dentist or getting a letter from a dentist that says I help them serve their own communities, that's infinitely more scaled and beautiful thing. So what a testament to you to be a legend in dentistry.
That's the impact. Yes.
Appreciate that a lot.
That's cool, Craig. Really cool.
Hey, Pete, we should plug. Can't we plug that thing or no? Are we ready to release our what's happening on Father's Day, Pete? Or is it?
Yeah, actually.
Oh, snap.
Snap. I forgot. Yeah, go ahead.
We got exciting news. So Pete and I, we're never thinking about promotion. So I have to think about this for a second. So we partnered with Shine to do a Bulletproof Summit. So we had one in October in Atlanta. It was a raging success. Everybody loved it. We got letters still from that. When are you doing the next one? So I'm proud to announce that we have our next one set in Los Angeles, actually in Ranchos Palos Verdes, June 14th and 15th. That is Father's Day weekend. So Pete and I are bringing our families. So those dentists that want to come and you have a wife or little ones or even big ones, bring them along because we're going to have fun stuff for us to do on that Sunday, Father's Day. We're going to have a brunch. So while we're all spending our day Friday and Saturday learning, we'll have coordinated activities for the wives and husbands and the kids to all go hang out. So work hard, play hard. It's going to be really beautiful. It's at the La Terrenia Resort in Ranchos Palos Verdes. Really cool place. Have you been out there before, Bruce?
I have not. Sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's a 5-star resort, really badass. We're excited about it. And we're also limiting it. We limited our last summit to 80 attendees, just to keep it more of an intimate group, and it became more of a mastermind. And so we're limiting again to only 100 people. So registration is now open, right, Pete?
It is as of last. Yeah, I think she's pretty much done with it. So yes, it's ready to go. Yes, the answer is yes, Craig. It's ready.
And we didn't know, Bruce, when we did this, Pete and I got on stage their last one in October, and we're like, if it goes well, great. And if it doesn't go well, we'll put a bookend on that. And afterwards, I was on fire. I loved it. The people were all loving it. And I'm like, Pete, we got to do another one. Pete's like, I don't know yet. I don't know. I don't know. What the hell are you doing, man? He's like, I don't know. So
I know. I do.
I was like, I'm undecided. This was a lot of work, and like you love this, and you're amazing at this, but like yeah, I'm undecided.
Okay.
So the fact that we got one and Pete's committed, take advantage of it. June 14th and 15th. Go to Bulletproof dentalpractice.com and check it out.
Well, when you say, hey, it's going to be in LA in June on the coast and
on the beach.
Yeah. And John's going to run point and help us do. Oh, all right. I'll do that one. Right.
Yeah. So it was all about work hard, play hard. The family's getting a vacation. It's Father's Day. We're all excited about it. We're going to have some fun times. Pete and I are actually staying the whole week. So we're going to be there together for the whole week. It'll be fun.
Great.
So, Bruce, if you don't have anything going on that weekend, which is highly unlikely, I know, but I'm just throwing out the.
Oh, that'd be great. Bruce, come out.
I just looked at my phone. I'm speaking in Indianapolis on the 14th. So it's like,
this would be way cooler than wherever you're going.
it's like, come on, yeah. It's like last night we had a private deal with Ray Wiley Hubbard, the singer that he's written songs for all country guys all over the place. And he was saying, well, I was supposed to be at South by Southwest, but I had to cancel to come to this party. And because one of my real close friends is close friends with him. So anyway, yeah, I may have to cancel.
There you go. See?
Or leave there in Indianapolis. And on Saturday, come on Saturday, 15th.
There we go.
Yeah, Saturday, Sunday. We'll all have Father's Day brunch together at the resort on Sunday morning.
I may do it. We'll see.
Well, Bruce, thanks again for coming on. Again, I anticipate this being another one of the most requested, most downloaded podcasts that we've had, and you truly are. I don't say this to people often. I don't float people's blow up their skirt, but you truly are a legend, and just you drop value bombs and all over the place when you talk. And I'm literally taking notes. I made fun of Craig to have his notepad out, but like I was the one who had my notepad out. You're just awesome. You're doing great shit, man, and I just appreciate you every day. So thank you.
I really appreciate it. Enjoyed it.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.
All right.
Thank you.